This program on Eagle Community Television is brought to you in part by Ellsworth Steakhouse, Gillies, Millwood Realty, Anita Hoffhines, Pizza Hut, Robson's Card and Gift Shop, Seitz Drug.
Hello, this is Carol Kratzer with the Ellsworth-Kannapolis Area Chamber of Commerce, and this is our Ellsworth County Did You Know? And today we're here with Rick Benton. Messed it up earlier. And we are at the Midland Railroad Hotel, which is a beautiful facility, and thank you so much for having us here.
Thank you for coming today.
So I'm sort of new to the county. I mean, I've been visiting for 30 years, but tell me a little bit of the history about the hotel.
The hotel was built by the Power family in 1899, and briefly afterwards in 1902 there was a fire, and the hotel was completely renovated with some, excuse me, some newer technologies, and it became a boom town. Wilson became very, very successful in the 1920s, during the Depression, because this became the stopping place for traveling salespeople to come through on the trains. And so they would come between Wichita, take the train in, because at that time the train line here through town was passenger trains. And now it's not that anymore, it's all commercial. But so in 1997, through the history, just to jump a little bit forward, the Wilson Foundation took over the hotel because it was in very bad shape and had been beaten up and closed a couple of times. And the Wilson Foundation came through and purchased the hotel for around $35,000. And through a series of grants and funding, were able to raise about $3.2 million. And it took about 6 years, and they were able to reopen the hotel back to its original status from 1899, and a little bit of the 1902 as well. And without the acetylene gas lamps, but
thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. And so the hotel was then sold and operated. And in October of 2014, Melinda Merrill came in and purchased the Midland Railroad Hotel. And I've been with Melinda since December. And our history is that we were very good friends from another town in Colorado. And when this opportunity came around, I said, let's do it. We're going to have some fun. And we've been having great fun ever since. So it's a beautiful, beautiful little hotel. It
is gorgeous. And I love the furniture. I love the woodwork. I love everything about it. It's just, I see a vacation in my future. And so tell us some of the things that you've been doing since you took over.
We've just mainly been working on consistency and acquainting ourselves to the local communities and letting them know that we're here, and letting them know some of the fun things that we're doing. We're doing wine dinners once a month. We're focusing on local Kansas vineyards. We're doing all summer, we're doing one every month, and with all Kansas vintners, which is going to be a lot of fun. And so we bring in outside chefs to come in and do this as well. So again, more exposure for Kansas. There are people that are from the area. We're having some fun with some ghost tours and some ghost hunts in the paranormal, and that's been quite interesting. And we have a specific date set this month, a weekend date where we were just going to try to see if we could do something fun with the hotel, because we do have some interesting things that go on here. And I like to say that it's former guests and employees that have since come back for a visit and want to visit with us again. And then no matter whatever it is that you believe in, there's just things that go on here that you just can't quite explain sometimes. So it was really kind of fun. So we set a date. We picked a weekend date, and we gave it to this group and said, it's yours. If you sell out, we'll let you have free run of the hotel. You can do as you would like, that is not damaging or anything. And they sold the whole package out within 2 days. And it's kind of interesting. So they'll bring some TV people with them and all that kind of stuff. So again, it's just good exposure, something we're going to try once a month. And we're also doing a real fun for our guests. We're doing a bike program. So because of the great trails around this area and the amazing trail around Lake Wilson, which is one
nationally rated, top 10 in the nation.
It is.
In fact, it's in the top 5 in the nation. Switchback Trail at Wilson Lake. If you like to bike, it is the place to go.
It's pretty amazing. So what we've done is we're going to allow our guests, we're going to have 4 bicycles here on property and allow our guests to use them for $1 a day. And so they can get out and about and go see and go visit and do all kinds of things. They could go to the trails. The bikes aren't quite for the trails, but they could at least go out and see the lake. The bikes would get them out there. They're really nice road cruisers. And the only reason that we're charging $1 is because if we didn't charge for the bicycles, then there would be an assumption that they could just use them. And unfortunately, if there was an accident, we couldn't get them to sign a liability waiver. So if we charge them $1, then I can ask them to sign a waiver so that everybody's covered.
And the lake's how many miles? It's not that far.
You can get to the lake in about 5 miles.
Yeah.
And actually, you can get to the good side with the piers where you can go sit and have lunch and all that neat stuff. So it's, but we're doing all kinds of great stuff. We've just opened up, we had the liquor license changed so that we now can use the entire property. And so, for instance, this past weekend we hosted Candango, which was the bike ride through Kansas. And we were able to use the whole outside area. So now we have seating outside, and we had a band, and we can do all kinds of fun things now. We have really pretty property, and we've done a lot of outside landscaping and maintenance to take that up a notch as well. So we're having a great time. We're doing a lot of fun things, and it's been a blast so far.
And we look forward to so much more.
Thank you. Thank you. We're grateful to be here.
So Rick, we've moved locations, and we're in what area of the hotel now?
Right now we're in the upstairs dining area, which we use for meetings, and we can do banquets, and we actually can do small weddings and things like that up here. And so we can do about 60 people comfortably, and we could actually get a couple more with some advanced preparation and all that good stuff.
And the restaurant is where?
The restaurant is downstairs, and the restaurant is open Tuesday through Saturday, starting at 5 p.m. for dinner, and stop serving dinner around 9. It depends on the crowd. If the people are coming in later, we'll stay open, and then the bar is open until whatever the crowd dictates. And then on Sunday, we're open after church at 11, and then we stay open until about 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so we're closed on Mondays.
Well, and see, that's good to know, because Ellsworth, a lot of the restaurants are closed Sunday evening. So, you know, it's a beautiful drive over here. It's not that far, it's not that long, and wonderful food and drink.
We're 15 minutes from Ellsworth.
I know. Why people think it's so far. Well, I was one of those people for years until I started driving this route. So it's beautiful this time of year with the wheat changing and everything. So, all right, so great. So we've moved to one of the rooms, and I love that they're so spacious, because they really are. And I love that you've kept all the wonderful woodwork and all the details that make it so special. One of the things that I noticed as we were coming up here was that the rooms have names above them. You want to tell us a little story about that?
Certainly. That's people that were local to the area had the opportunity when the hotel was reopened after the Wilson Foundation came through with all the grant money and got the hotel started up again to purchase the rights to a particular room. And so you see a lot of check names across our transoms. And it's kind of fun because it makes each room different. So you can specifically ask for one room, and people come once they come and they visit with us, and they'll say, "Oh, I had such a great stay in that room. I'd like to come back to the cellar's room again." So they'll identify them as to the name of the room and all that neat stuff. So it makes it very different than most traditional hotels.
And each room has their own bathroom.
They do.
And this one has a gorgeous bathroom, complete bathroom, beautiful tile floor, gorgeous, just gorgeous. And so what do your rooms run?
Well, we start anywhere. We have one room that we can rent for $69, and then we go on up at the $79 and $89, and work our way up based on occupancy and the time of the year and all that neat stuff. But you can, entry level all the time is at $69. You can always come into the hotel for that kind of money. But I'd like to, the bathrooms, I'm glad that you recognize that, because my history is historic hotels. And these are the nicest bathrooms I've ever seen in historic hotels. They're beautiful. So they were done with passion. Yes. And it shows. All the details in these rooms they're really special.
Well, and when in your room, you have your door, but you also have a screen door, which is a lattice door, which they probably had originally to keep the airflow in the room so that you could cool them, because they didn't have air conditioning in 1902.
Those doors are still here. So you'll go through 2 doors to come into your room.
And it was gorgeous. And we tried another room and you could feel the airflow come through. It was just wonderful. I just love all those details. So what do you want to tell us about coming and staying here that maybe people don't know?
A couple of fun facts about the hotel or that in the town is that we have our tornado sirens every day at 7 a.m., at noon, and at 6 p.m. So we now talk to our guests about that when they come check in, because we don't want them to be surprised that something's going on. But it's a tradition in Wilson. At 7 a.m., tornado siren went off. That means go to work. At noon, come home for lunch, and then at 6 p.m., come home for dinner. And it was mainly done for the local farmers to let them know, because they weren't able to keep time. And so it's just been a tradition here in Wilson that they've kept. And I think that's really, really fun. And I also want you to know that we are a train hotel. And the trains come by 7-8 times a day, and they make a little bit of racket, but it's kind of fun. And sometimes if they come through a little quick, you can actually feel the building shake, and you can watch them. So not a lot of places like this anymore.
No, and one of my favorite memories was sleeping at my grandmother's house and hearing the train. She was a block and a half from the train in California, and you could hear it. And hearing the whistles in the evening is just one of my favorite, and if the wind's right, I can hear them at my house, which I love. But it's one of my favorite memories. So
they come through, and the fun little thing about Wilson is if they're coming through and they're a little ahead of schedule, they'll stop the train in the middle of town. And you're like, what are they doing? And they run across the street and go to the grocery store and then run back and start the train back up again. I mean,
well, they need stops too.
Exactly. So you don't see that kind of stuff anywhere else. But they did it yesterday, which was kind of fun for me to see. So very different, very, very different, and very charming. And that's the fun about
this whole experience has been charming. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you all are here, and please come visit with us.
I will be. So now we are in the sample room, which is the restaurant in the hotel. So tell us some of the things we can enjoy here. It's a gorgeous room.
Thank you. We have a whole host of nice appetizers. We always have a daily special, which is really good. And for entrees, we have one that we win all the awards with is chicken fried steak. And so we were best in Kansas again this year. And so we're very proud of that. And that's exciting. And we also do fresh salmon, which is pretty amazing, in a beurre blanc sauce, and that goes very, very well. A couple of different types of steaks. We have a KC strip, and we do burgers, and we do grilled chicken salads, and we have a grilled chicken dish, and then we can do fried chicken, a salad, as well as fried chicken strips. Everything's hand rolled and handmade, so really nice. And now we just got a Traeger, so I'm learning all about that, and we're having some fun with that. So did some smoked peanuts over the weekend that we set out at the bar, and all good stuff. We're having a lot of fun.
And speaking of the bar, we're sitting in front of this gorgeous, gorgeous bar, and you said most of this is original to the room from the hotel. So tell us some of the selection that we could enjoy here.
We have a selection of about 50 different types of whiskeys, and we have a pretty large selection for this area. And we sell a lot of whiskey here, so we'd like to think of it as a little whiskey bar, but we have to be a little more than that because we're the only liquor license in town, so we want to accommodate everybody. And we have a nice range of distilled alcohol as well, with the vodkas and the gins and all that kind of stuff. So pretty much anything that you're looking for that you could find here, but you have to at least come and try to do a whiskey sample here. A lot of fun with that.
I would enjoy that. Scotch is my drink.
Oh yeah. We can make that happen.
And we were discussing some of the decor, and you have these beautiful photos hanging on these lovely railroad spikes. And I just think that is amazing. And you said that you and the mayor came up with that, right?
We did. We found the antique railroad spikes in a shop in Hayes and said, let's try to make it, how do we make this look original without tearing up the walls and have some fun with it? So Mayor Potacek cut them off and drilled them out, and they hang over a regular nail. So we get a lot of inquiries about that, which is kind of fun. And then if you're really nice and you like them, I have plenty, and we've been given to special guests. We give them one to take a look at. I know, but just a little thing that we can do. We had great fun with our placemats at the hotel. We sourced this great children's coloring book that was about 100 years old with the history of trains in it, and we blew that up and added Midland Railroad to all of the photos. So we have a multitude of different placemats that have all these great historic railroad scenes in them. So it's kind of fun. And now people are collecting those, which has been really interesting for me. But it's all fun.
And we were discussing some of the things to do around town. Wilson is a very small town. You have a number of great restaurants. You have a wonderful grocery store. But there's not a lot to do, let's be honest. We talked about taking the bikes to the lake. You were talking about another project that you started a couple weeks ago to give us something else to look at in
we did.
Wilson.
There's a great old jail here, and it's about 2 blocks from the hotel. It's fascinating and very haunted, according to my paranormal people, but the local pigeons had taken it over for the past 5 or 6 years, so the owners very graciously allowed a volunteer group of people to go in. The Wilson Foundation supported it with the hazmat suits and the gloves and all that kind of stuff, and they got it cleaned out and closed up, and so now it's with some notice. Now you can go back and visit the old jail, and that's kind of fun. I mean, it's very different. It's probably not something you've seen, and once you go in, you would be grateful that you weren't a bad person back in the day.
Exactly. Well, and Wilson is a lovely town. I mean, it is just so much fun. A lot of people come for the Czech Festival, which is usually the last weekend in July, but there's other times of the year to come to Wilson, and this is a great place to stay. So if you're in the area, please stop in, enjoy a whiskey, have a great meal, and spend the night. This is Carol Krotzer with the Ellsworth Kannapolis Area Chamber of Commerce.
This program on Eagle Community Television is brought to you in part by Ellsworth Steakhouse, Gillies, Millwood Realty, Anita Hoffhines, Pizza Hut, Robson's Card and Gift Shop, Seitz Drug,